Hey guys, welcome to the lecture on concatenation of NumPy arrays. Before we go any further in this lecture, I'm going to show you a concept in NumPy called axes. So I'm going to go with this page here. So it shows you what a NumPy axis or axes are. As you can see, we have two axes here, 0 and 1. So axis 0 is along the rows. As you can see, it goes down here. And axis 1 is actually along the columns. So in NumPy array, always remember, axis 0 is the first axis, and it is along the direction of the rows, and axis 1 is along the direction of the columns. So just always remember that. Now back to the lecture. So how do you concatenate? What does concatenate even mean? So concatenate means joining. So you can join two arrays. You can join single dimensional array, you can join two-dimensional arrays in NumPy. So how can you do that? So for that, I'm just going to first have my array here, x equals np.array as a one-dimensional array. So I'm just going to do 1, 2, 3, and then I'm also going to have y np.array again. Sure, just copied that. 4, 5, 6. You know what? Yeah, that's good for now. Let's process that. X comma y. Let's see how x looks. Let's see how y looks. And now we can concatenate them. So how do you concatenate them? So you can concatenate them using np.concatenate, which is just a fancy way of saying joining. Concatenate. Yeah. Looks good. X comma y, and there you have it. So this is concatenated here, as you can see, 1, 2, 3, and then the other NumPy array we have 4, 5, 6. It's all concatenated here. And we can concatenate more than two arrays, right? You don't need to have just x, y, or just like two arrays. You can just have one more here. Just say z equals this. Let's copy that and process it, and then we can just say, you know what, oops, and just copy this guy here, and x, y, z. As you can see, we have our x array here, we have our y array here, and z or z array here. They're all concatenated, right? So one-dimensional array, so they're all concatenated in just like one line, right? But now let's look at a couple examples of a two-dimensional array, which kind of get complicated for some people, right? It's not that hard though. So I'm just going to clear all the output here. Let's move on this. Let's move on this. Right? So we have our x here. You know what? I'm going to delete this guy as well. So let's take an example of a two-dimensional array. Let's just call it grid. So grid equals, remember, we're trying to make a two-dimensional array here. Two square brackets. Whenever there are two square brackets, that means a two-dimensional array. 1, 2, 3, and then we're gonna have 4, 5, 6, right? So this is our two-dimensional array. Oops, 1, 2, 3, I think. Yeah, there should be a comma here. Yep. Now let's see how it looks. So that's our two-dimensional array. We have 2 rows and 3 columns, so it's a 2 by 3 array, right? How can we concatenate? Imagine you have to concatenate this grid twice. So we can just do the same thing. np.concatenate. Don't mind the noise in the background. Oops. I have to put these in the square brackets here. Yeah, so there you have it. So always remember, use the square brackets when you have to concatenate two-dimensional arrays, right? Always remember that. So, and even if you're using single dimensional array, just use a square bracket always, right? Not just these brackets here, but you gotta use these square brackets. So np.concatenate great comma great, and we have this concatenate array here, 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6, and as you can see, this is along the row, right? So if you look at this, diagram here, this is along the axis 0, right? So like it's like kind of stacked on top of each other, right? So it's like vertically stacked, which is the direction of the row. As you can see, it's like that, vertical, right? So how can you make it horizontally stacked, or how can you make it stacked along the axis 1, which is for the columns, right? So to do that, what we can do is we can supply an axis here, axis equals 1, and there you go. So now, this is our one array, 1 2 3 4 5 6, 1 2 3 4 5 6, but 1 2 3 4 5 6. Now instead of these guys going down vertically stacked, now they're horizontally stacked, or they're stacked along axis 1, which is the columns. Columns are always horizontal like this. So yeah, so there you have it. By default, axis is 0, and I can show you that right now. So if you don't specify anything, it's axis 0. If you specify axis 1, it's going to be concatenated along the second axis, which is the columns, as you can see here, right? Axis 1, it goes along the columns, or horizontally, you can say. So there you go. So that's how you concatenate NumPy arrays. I'll see you in the next lecture.